Hey everyone, welcome to a very important day.
It's Secretary's Day.
It's also Daryl's birthday. It's also a really special day for Angela.
This is my favorite day.
Written by Mindy Kaling and directed by Steve Carell.
I'll have what she's having.
We have so much to talk about. Welcome to the Office Field Guide. My name's Chris, and today we are looking at Secretary's Day.
If it wasn't for secretaries, I wouldn't have a stepmom.
I understand nothing.
Out of the gate with his awesome bit.
Call me back ASAP. It's urgent.
Both making fun of Kevin and maybe a little meta commentary on his Flanderization.
Even though the penis was fake, I kept expecting a second plot twist where we found out that Hilary Swank actually was a boy.
Now, if you're not familiar with it, Flanderization is the concept that all characters will inevitably go from being layered to just caricatures or like one-sided versions of themselves.
Don't be a caricature, Kevin.
With all of the media out there, we do have Brian Baumgartner's podcast called Office Deep Dive. He also wrote this book too, which is 400 pages on The Office. It's cuckoo bananas.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
There's so much stuff in there.
Macadamia nut cookies.
Anyway, on that podcast, you get to hear his sultry voice, which sounds similar to season 1's Kevin.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, but no one here has it.
Someone has it.
I'm not really convinced that a show that lasts as long as The Office has can actually avoid Flanderization of its characters without a ton of upfront planning. And a lot of people say that it's just lazy writing because characters lose their nuance, making jokes very simple to tell.
I have very little patience for stupidity.
I do think of this a little differently though. There's so many characters in this ensemble that we can't follow everyone's story. So side characters become this opportunity to break the monotony, and after establishing their primary character traits, it's really easy for writers to just use these characters as situations arise.
Shave her head!
Need someone to convey facts.
Actually?
Need someone to talk about doing alcohol.
Do you think that doing alcohol is cool?
Can't decide between a fat joke or a dumb joke.
Boom, roasted.
No, but he's making all these fancy... It's a gut thing.
And I think these bits become more akin to inside jokes for the series.
Love to be a part of one someday.
And it's really difficult with a cast this large to create depth for everyone. But there is implied depth, at least for some of our side characters. Like, Ryan is clearly going through something in the background. Today's experimenting with an untied bow tie look. Not sure that was ever a thing, but I kind of like it. Also in the background, Angela has now become the PPC leader again. And I think Flanderization becomes a problem when main characters begin to flatten out into caricatures. And I don't think The Office falls into that. But
Butts are for pooping.
having said all of that, what else do you think we should put Kevin's voice to? I think the easy layup is Patrick Starr.
Call me back ASAP. It's urgent.
Leave a comment with what you think might work. If I like it and I have time, I'll play around with it. I'll either drop it here on YouTube or I'll put it on TikTok. But back to the idea of depth. While I think Scott's tots solidified Aaron as a member of this ensemble,
What you gonna do? Make a dream come true, yeah.
for me it was Secretary's Day. They gave her character a chance to show a different side.
Did you have a favorite age? Or month?
And Ellie Kemper brought it.
Okay, you know what?
I loved the spree of questions she asked Michael.
What decade would you have chosen to be a teenager?
How many pillows do you sleep on at night?
God, Oscar, will you keep your pants on? It's easy.
And at this Taco Bell joke, come on.
My last job was at a Taco Bell Express, but then it became a full Taco Bell and I don't know, I couldn't keep up.
Michael has two people in this world who drop anything to go spend time with him. Dwight and now clearly Aaron, and he's hesitant to do so.
She's kind of a rube.
And I can't help but feel that Carell's directing this one had a little bit to do with the depth that we get from Michael. And while I think Aaron's turn later is a terrible thing to do to someone who's put all this thought and energy into Secretary's Day planning, party, whatever for you, it's at least showing that she has range.
Who are you? I don't know you.
I don't
And okay, where are we landing as a collective society right now? Is Andy obligated to tell the woman he's been dating for 3 weeks his sexual past and engagement with their mutual coworker?
Did you sleep with Phyllis? Or Kelly? Or Pam? Maybe all together?
Like, I read this as somewhere in the middle. Big surprise, I know. Andy probably should have been like, hey.
Hey!
And when Erin found out, she probably should have been like, hey. Can convey a lot in Hayes. Unrelated, Hayworth's is not a restaurant in Scranton.
Hayworth's is more business casual, and they always screw up your order, so. Sir?
Yes.
Yeah, I asked for pickles on my burger, and they're only like 5 or 6. Can I get some more pickles?
Of course, I'll get you a bowl of pickles.
In case anybody's wondering, pickles are disgusting.
I want to throw up just thinking about it.
I want to throw up just thinking about it.
Use pickle.
I'll die on this hill, take a delicious cheeseburger, like lettuce, tomato, bacon, cheese, ketchup, mayo, and maybe sometimes swap all those out with some chipotle mayo thing or something. I don't know. Amazing.
Satisfied?
You know what doesn't make cheeseburgers better? Vinegar-soaked cucumbers.
That is just so disgusting!
If you like it, I'm sorry, but you're wrong.
You are throwing up for the wrong reasons.
Pickles are like the physical manifestation of a paradox. Like something that's both soggy and crunchy. Like defies the natural order of things, people. It needs to stop. If you're keeping track at home, I don't like board games, I don't like anime, I don't like bagels, and I don't like pickles. By the way, the pickle guy right there, that's Aaron Schur, longtime producer for the series, sometimes writer, and for this episode, an actor. So I reached out to Aaron Schur to see if he could give any background on how he ended up with this as his only acting credit. But he didn't respond, so, you know, maybe he will in the future, never know. For now, let's dive into the deeper meaning.
What does a bean mean?
Someone please explain it to Kevin.
Secretary's Day is a Kaling episode.
My name is Kevin, I'm an accountant.
After 6 seasons now, I'm figuring out that Kaling likes to write chaotic cringe comedy without an overarching structure underneath it. So let's key on some things here that may have been seeded for us, the audience, to understand where she was going with this. And let's start with this joke, which seems really innocuous on the surface.
Couldn't have watered it?
I literally did not know that existed until this moment.
Well, I knew it existed, and I chose to let it die.
Keep in mind that just a year ago, Pam would have been the focus of an episode called Secretary's Day.
The girl who makes copies.
We know that she probably would have gone through some stuff during those early days with Michael.
You people just keep chipping away at my soul until I die. Is that what you want? I mean, do you want me to die?
No, I
Do you want to kill me? Are you trying to kill me?
Michael. He didn't do anything sexual. He just made far, far too many Monica Lewinsky jokes.
But this quick joke feels like it's meant to remind us that Pam's been gone for a little bit on maternity leave.
Fine, let your breasts explode.
Even though if you're just binging this at home, it's probably only been an hour or two since she had Cece.
PP, Halpert!
But this plant does have significance earlier in the series. If you watch my season 5 field guides, I talked about how this plant symbolized Pam's journey throughout the Michael Scott Paper Company arc. Much like Michael apparently killing fish throughout that arc, Pam kept this plant alive. It survived Michael's condo, it survived the time in the Cafe Disco office, and it came back with her in her sales position. And there it sat.
Yep. Acidic, all right.
Plants can represent a lot of things in literature, but I think in this case, the plant represents Pam's ambitions. She packed it up, put it all on the line, and was carving out a career for herself, making it through all of the struggles. Fast forward a bit, she comes back from maternity leave, and the plant is no longer alive. The death of the plant might reflect struggles that career women have when they leave to have a baby, and then spend some time recouping and, connecting with the little human.
And you know where milk comes from? Breasts.
That process takes its toll physically, mentally, and emotionally, but it can also have a big impact to a woman's career. Now, we Americans are slowly catching up with many people across the pond in HR stuff that's offered to new parents. But even so, there is a documented impact that pregnancy and maternity leave can have on a woman's career, be it biased, missed opportunities, or a change in career ambitions of that new mother. And to be clear, these problems are present with men and women, especially now that men are getting more and more paternity leave here in the States. Either way, this plant does seem to foreshadow that sales for Dunder Mifflin Saber is not the long game for Pam, that she's in a role that she's not quite meant for.
You're good at sales.
I'm the office administrator.
And that's really the thing this episode is reinforcing. Michael's playing a boss role with Aaron, Andy's playing the part of the sweet, engaged guy, Gabe's playing the part of authoritarian.
It is now forbidden to talk, joke about, or email this around.
Kevin's playing the part of the Cookie Monster.
Oscar, did you eat some of my M&Ms? Wait, I'm sitting on them.
Aaron's playing the part of a normal person.
Aaron is just weird.
Joking aside, I do get a little sad when I see this sequence. I mean, there are studies out there suggesting that childhood trauma can physically affect the childhood development of the part of the brain that controls memory and regulation of emotions. There's no shame in therapy. That's all I'm saying, guys.
One summer, we moved into a tent in the woods for a week. And we had to live on basically nothing but crackers and marshmallows and chocolate bars.
And see what I mean? Like, Kayleen likes to create insane episodes, both looking at, in this case, mental health, past traumas affect today.
In the foster home, my hair was my room.
Sprinkling a little motherhood, career impacts, Kevin impersonations.
Oh, guys, I really refuse to participate.
Michael, can I have an advance on my paycheck because a Mrs. Field cookie just opened up at the mall?
Gabe being a dweeb.
I have to go back to the zoo to the stick insect exhibit.
Jim and Pam getting a few extra days off work and one-upping Dwight in the process. The Office. Let's rate this thing.
This is the worst.
Was it everything that you hoped and dreamed it might be?
This episode is all over the place, and it feels a little chaotic and cluttered. But again, that's just Kayleen's style.
Everybody does stupid things.
The episode plays out like a late Act 2, early Act 3 rom-com, with the relationship established, but there's always this point where this happens. But starting us off with this awesome cold opening.
What's the difference between a chimichanga, a chalupa, and a tostada?
Again, for a non-Jim Dwight prank cold opening, this one gets me every time.
This is Kevin. This is Kevin.
Let me be clear, I do feel bad for Kevin, but it's still awesome. And bonus points to this cold opening, it's not just funny, it's a plot driver for the B story of this episode. So, also Kevin gets his comeuppance later.
C is for suspension.
5 out of 5 for me. That's several 5 out of 5s lately, but they're on a roll, man. What can I do? As for this episode, honestly, I don't care about this will they, won't they.
I think I have to be on my own for a little bit. Like that girl Precious in Precious, based on the novel Pushed by Sapphire.
This is gonna blow over in 2 seconds. She never asked me, so if you think about it,
It's hard to fault Kayleen for having to play within the weirdness bounds that's been created for these characters and their relationship on screen. But on the other hand, she drove some depth out of Aaron. And Steve Carell, directing Steve Carell, gets to round out this episode with this extremely wholesome father-daughter moment with Aaron.
And I don't think she's ever pooped in her life.
Reinforcing that, these normal people working in a normal office can have significant impact on our lives, which is just weird how humans relate to each other because this all feels very real.
That was real? I thought I dreamed that.
In a very weird world. But overall, this episode has some problems, but it's a good one. It gets a 4 out of 5 from me.
Because America was discovered.
Right.
But that's just what I think about Secretary's Day. What are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Join us next week as we cover body language. Only 4 more episodes to the end of season 6. So, we'll see you next time.
Chow. Right? Chow. Okay. I say chow because I'm fancy from Tallahassee.